Welcome everyone to another Crow Expert Hour brought to you by MICCI. Hello, I'm Sean Chia, Executive Director of MICCI, the Malaysian International Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the longest established chamber in Malaysia, championing businesses since 1837, 180 plus years old. Are we tired? No, we continue to keep our members up to date, and as part of our services is to bring knowledge to our members. Before we start, let's have some housekeeping rules. If those that are logged in to Facebook, you can leave your comments or your questions or clarifications in the comment section, and those in the Zoom, in the chat, we'll pick it up and we'll try to answer them as much as we can, or time permits, okay? Without further ado, today's topic is 2022 budget announcements affecting employers and employees. You know, the budget 22 was announced on the 29th of October 2021. As an employer, you should be aware of the latest updates relating to this budget announcement. It is important that businesses should get ready for these changes that will affect your payroll and your employer-employee tax. Things that you need to consider. The budget 2022 highlights how does it imply in implications on the employer and employees, and what you should be aware of. But important is, what is your next action after the budget 2022 announcements? What should you be doing? So in this live MICCI Crow Expert Hour, we have from Global Mobility Services, Executive Director Ms. Shalina Jafar and Director Ms. Mona Lisa Muhammad Ali. They will be sharing with you the budget 2022 highlights and will provide a better understanding to employers to comply with the updates. So, Ms. Shalina, are you ready?
Yes, Sean, I'm ready.
Okay, the floor is handed over to you.
Okay, thanks, Sean, for the brief introductions, and good afternoon to everyone. And then thank you for being willing to listen to our sharing today, even though I may take your this our lunch hour, but I hope that I can I will not take long to speak, and as I only have about 30 minutes from now on, and I will try my best to give a brief descriptions possible, and hope we can answer your question, if any, at the end of these sessions. Okay, so we move on to the next slide. Okay. Okay, this is the contents. We have 4 contents here. Firstly, I will highlight on the budget highlights for the employer and employees. Also, I will brief on the overall implications of the budget 2022, and followed by what are the actions required after you listen to the budget announcement. All right. Okay. Then, of course, we have the Q&A sessions. All right. Okay. Now we move on to the topic. Okay. So before I explain further, I think it's better for us to know briefly the function of these 4 statutory bodies in Malaysia. The first one is the RRBM or LHDN Malaysia. Okay, LHDN Malaysia is one of the main revenue collecting agencies of the Ministry of Finance. LHDN was established in accordance with the Inland Revenue Board Act 1995, and it became a board on 1st March 1996, and is known formally as IRBN, Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia. So what they do, they are responsible for the overall administrations of direct taxes under the few acts like Income Tax Act 1967, Petroleum Income Tax Act 1967, and so on. All right. Okay, LHDN has officially appointed their new CEO on 19 October 2021, Our new CEO for LHDN is the Datuk Muhammad Nizam Sairi, and he replaced Datuk Sri Dr. Sabin Samita. Okay, so the second one is Employees Provident Fund, or EPF. And EPF is a federal statutory body under the government of the Ministry of Finance. All right. So it managed the compulsory savings plan and retirement planning for private sector workers in Malaysia. And as all you are aware, membership of the EPF is mandatory for Malaysian citizens employed in the private sector. And it is a voluntary contributions for non-Malaysian citizens. Okay, now we move on to the next one, SOCSO, right? Okay, SOCSO, or also known as a Perkeso in Bahasa, was established in 1971 under the Ministry of Human Resources. It provides social security protections to all employees or workers in Malaysia. Okay, so the last one is HRD Corporation. So HRD Corporation is responsible for training programs through levy collection from employers. HRDC, what they do, they will fund training and also placement of employees in industrial training, coaching and counseling, as well as develop income generating opportunities, by individuals from various skill sets, background and abilities. So this HRD Corporation, administered by the Human Resources Berhad Act 2001 or PSMB Act 2001, under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Human Resources Malaysia. Okay, now we move on to the next one. What are the plans made to these two statutory bodies? All right, on the next slide. Okay, so what are the plans that made to these two statutory bodies by the government, subsequent to the budget announcement made by our Minister of Finance, Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Aziz. Okay, so we look at the EPF first. If you recall, in the budget 2021, the Malaysian government had announced that employees have the option to reduce their EPF statutory contributions from 11% to 9% starting from January 2021 until December 2021. And it was announced in the budget 2021. So now, with the announcement of the budget 2022 recently, it was proposed that the reduced rate of 9% will be continued for an additional 6 months from January 2022 until June 2022. And as you are aware, the reduced rate is default for all employees under the age of 60 years old. All right. Okay. So if you need to participate in this reduction of the EPF rate, the employees would need to fill out Borang KWSP 70A HAS 2020. I think this one you can refer to your HR. All right. Okay. The next one, HRDC. As you know, as I mentioned just now, HRDC Corporation is a one-stop employment and skills development center to provide individuals with the opportunity to skill, reskill, and upskill across a wide range of training, placement, and career development services. All right. So in the budget 2022, it was mentioned that an allocation of about 4.8 billion will be channeled towards to creating job opportunities under the Jamin Kerja initiative. So the 1.1 billion has also been allocated for upskilling and reskilling programs. So among the initiatives that have been presented in the 2020 budget is that the government will launch an upskilling and reskilling program. And HRDC is one of the agencies that take part in providing skills training to job seekers and also guarantee placement into jobs. All right. So the incentives will be given to the employers who participate and provide training to the following: former detainees, pensioners, people with disability, and also women and single mothers. All right. There is also another program that will be implemented by the HRDC is Place and Train. All right. Place and Train is one of the initiative by the HRDC to source and
provide employment for Malaysians, especially for graduates, school leavers, and retrenched workers by participating in value-added relevant training conducted by the selected industries, right? So what happened after they go for the place and train program? So upon completion of this training, the applicants will be able to secure job placement, yeah, in any industry that require manpower to perform a specific job. And please note, it is compulsory for employers to hire this candidate and offer them a minimum of 1 year contract. All right, now we move on to the next slide on the Social Security Organization, SOCSO. All right, in the budget 2022, the Minister of Finance had also announced about the monthly salary ceiling for the SOCSO contributions. In the past, the SOCSO contribution is compulsory for those employees receive a monthly salary of 4,000 and below. Subsequent to the budget announcement, it has been proposed that the salary ceiling increase to 5,000 in 2022. Yeah. So this one also, according to the CEO of the SOCSO, Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Azman Aziz Muhammad, he said that this what we call this proposal will then created SOCSO will then introduce the self-employment social security schemes, because in the budget 2022, it was also mentioned that the SOCSO coverage will also be expanded to 9 new categories of self-employed, who they are artists, hawkers, fisheries, agricultural, travel agents, OKU, orang asli or Sabah Sarawak, and community rehabilitation supervisors and staff. So what SOCSO do, according to the CEO, SOCSO will now implement 6 what we call this self-employment social security scheme program. And if I'm not mistaken, in the recent speech that the CEO said that this program will be known as social employment security khidmat, social employment security gig, social employment security usaha wanita, and also as they call as a short form SPS Tani, SPS Jaja, Seni, Lain Upaya, and so on. So this one actually you can go through in their SOCSO website to know, understand further about this new program for this self-employed for the subsequent to the budget announcement. All right. Okay, now in order under the 2022 budget announcement also, it also mentioned and also straighten on the job opportunities for all job seekers. Yeah. So the job opportunities will be created next year, meaning this year, 2022, under the Jamin Kerja Keluarga Malaysia, or we call as the Jamin Kerja, which will guarantee a job for those job seekers under the supervisions of SOCSO Employment Insurance System, or EIS, which the government has allocated about 2 billion for the purpose of the Jamin Kerja initiative. Okay, so this led by the SOCSO, the incentive provided is one of the incentive provided under this Jamin Kerja is that the 30% of employees for the first 6 months' salaries will be subsidized by the government, and 40% for the remaining 6 months of the employee salary will be subsidized by the government. So under this Jamin Kerja hiring incentive, actually it will cover the following categories. Yeah, very general. I say like foreign workers, like women in the ICT sector, tourism sector, apprentices, GIG employees, vulnerable groups, and they encourage all these employers to hire them so they can give a subsidy of the salary from their salary, the percentage as I mentioned just now, according to the category. Okay, the last one. Following to the WSP4, there is also another WSP introduced which they call as PSU5. Okay, as you know that WSC is one of the financial assistance that paid to the employer for each enterprise for their local employees, yeah. And it under DPSU 5, it is actually targeted to those employers operating in the tourism sectors, yeah. And also the eligibility is for those tourism sector experience a decrease in income of at least 30% of their total sales of a income. And it is a wage subsidy of 600 per month for each employee for 3 months, but it is only limited to the 500 employees per claim. All right. Okay, as you know, the purpose of this WSP actually is to assist employer who are economically affected by the COVID-19 as well as the closure of their operations during the MCO. All right. So now we go on to the next slides on the income tax relief for the under the budget 2022. Okay, I believe that as of now, many of you already knows what are the changes subsequent to the budget announcement relating to the individuals and also relating to the employers. This is a snapshot, and I try my best just to explain in a very brief description. All right, the first one, expansion of the tax relief on SOCSO contributions. All right. Okay, currently the tax relief for SOCSO contributions was introduced from YA 2016 under paragraph 46(1) of the Income Tax Act to allow a personal deduction to an individual irrespective of their contribution made to the SOCSO. All right, so the amount allowed as a deduction is only limited to 250 ringgit. Okay, now what has been proposed? It is proposed that the tax relief limit will be increased from 250 to 350. It's only like a 100. Is not much. It's only like 350 from 250 to 350. And but what the government said, although the increase is rather minimal, but the scope of relief for the SOCSO contribution will be expanded. Yeah, will be expanded to cover employee contributions through the Employee Insurance Scheme, EIS. So this is to encourage the private employees to contribute to SOCSO and also to protect who lost their job. Okay, this is effective from 1st January 2022. All right. Okay, now we move on to the next one. Expansion for the tax relief on upskilling and self-enhancement course fee. All right. Okay. Currently, for those majoring in a bachelor's degree, so the education fee will be deducted up to 7,000 for the purpose of your filing your income tax return. All right. So this allowable deduction actually only refers to those individuals who actually pursue their studies in the course of law, accounting, financing, technical, vocational, industrial, scientific, or technological qualification or fields. Yeah, this is for those who pursue a degree course. But for those who pursue a master and PhD majors, the education fee relief of tax relief of 7,000 will be allowed for all courses. That is the difference. Okay. So effective from YA 2021 and 2022, the cost of study now is extended to any course undertaken for the purpose of upskilling or self-enhancement, and the course must be conducted by a recognized body under the National Skills Development Act 2006, according to the Malaysian government. Okay, so the amount can be allowed for deduction is limited to a max of 1,000 for each year, and that amount actually, however, unfortunately, forms part of the 7,000, which is the deduction allowed for the education fees. Okay, now what has been proposed under the 2022 budget? It has been proposed that the education fee expanded to include approved courses, such as those individuals who pursue courses in accounting and environment, social and governance. Short form is ESG. And this is related, whereas for the upskilling and self-enhancement courses, the government has proposed that the tax relief increased from 1,000 to 2,000 and extended to the year of assessment 2023. All right. So in this, the next one, we look at the expansion of tax relief on EPF contributions. Okay. Firstly, we must understand what is the meaning of the voluntarily contributions. Actually, you can refer to the EPF websites. Yeah, what is meaning by the voluntary contribution as defined by the EPF board. Okay, so for the basically a voluntary contributor is an individual who is not included as a mandatory contributor under the EPF Act 1991. So subsequent to the budget 2022, the government said that the income tax relief for the EPF contributions of 4,000 per year will also cover the contributions made by all these voluntarily contributor, which in the past they are not allowed to claim the EPF. All right. Okay. So now we move on to the next one. Expansion of tax relief on the medical checkup expenses. Okay. These medical checkup expenses, prior to the budget announcement of 2022, you can only claim 1,000 for the medical checkup. All right. Okay. This 1,000, however, is form part of the 8,000 if you claim medical expenses relief. Okay. So in addition to this medical checkup is also allowed. It's not only you, but also allowed if it's incurred by your wife or by your husband or by your child. Yeah. Okay. So now, effective from the YA 2022, what government has proposed? The government has proposed that the medical expenses be expanded to also cover costs associated with the adoption of self-funded booster vaccines. Yeah, and for the employer, this cost of self-funded booster vaccine will be allowed as a tax deduction. Okay, so and also the government also has proposed that the expenses for the medical checkup on yourself, on your spouse, or on your child of 1,000 ringgit that I mentioned just now is also to cover the cost of checkup or consultation services related to a mental health. Yeah, but this mental health medication or treatment must come from the registered psychiatrist, yeah, or clinical psychologist and counselor. So it was further clarified that the secretaries must be registered with the Malaysia Medical Council. The clinical psychologist, if you go for the to the clinic, is also must registered with the Malaysian Allied Health Professions Council. Yeah, and if let's say you seek the treatment through a consulting from the consultant, so it must be registered with the Board of Counsellors Malaysia. Okay, so additional information for the finance bill, yeah, pertaining to this relief is that the scope of relief under the medical examination also includes COVID-19 detection tests, yeah, by the registered medical practitioner, and also self-detection test kits. Yeah, the one that you buy like 4 ringgit or 9 ringgit now, that one also you can claim as part of the medical expenses relief, yeah, for the purpose of this budget. Okay, so however, for the tax relief of 1,000 medical checkup that I mentioned just now, actually is also include for the what we call this is the cost for the vaccine and so on. When I'm talking about vaccine, this is for those who takes vaccine under their own cost. But now actually government is actually sponsor all the vaccine. So you don't have to worry about the vaccine because that one actually covered by the government. Yeah. But the one that we may incur the cost is when we do a COVID test kit. The COVID test kit actually is allowed for a medical medical expenses relief for the YA 2021. This year, when you file your tax return, make sure you claim for all those COVID tests, yeah, the COVID test and so on. But we're talking about vaccine, booster, and all these things. If you incur the cost, this is only from this year, YA 2022. It's not covered under the YA 2021 tax filing. Yeah, Please remember, on the tax return that you file by April 30th is refer to the last year income and also expenses, yeah, incurred, yeah. Okay, so now we move on to the extension of tax relief for domestic tourism expenses. Okay, effective from the YA 2020, the tax relief is given to the domestic tourism expenses, yeah, like if you go for a cuti Malaysia in the calendar year 2020, so to help the tourism industry. So what the government said that, okay, for those who went for a holiday during the year 2020, so we will allow tax relief. But unfortunately, if you can remember, the first PKP that we had was in March 2020. So and after that, we, of course, we didn't go anywhere for a vacation, and it's like until to the end of the year 2020, maybe not many of us had a chance to go for a vacation, especially for those who always travel overseas and so on, right? But to help this tourism industry, so the government said in their budget for the YA 2020 said, okay, for those who incurred these expenses for a vacation and so on, so you are allowed for the tax relief, right? So we call as a domestic tax relief for domestic expenses or domestic tourism expenses. They call as a domestic, yeah. So this is not covered for those who go holiday or vacation in overseas. Okay, so what have been given relief under this domestic tourism? Yeah, so this, unfortunately, the tax relief for the domestic expenses tourism is only cover accommodation. Yeah, it's only a cover hotel lah. Hotel, if you're booking for a hotel cost and so on, it's only cover that. It must be registered with the MOTAD, yeah, or with the Tourism Industry Act, and also the entrance fee to any tourism attraction. But for a transportation, yeah, for the transportation, unfortunately, not covered under this tax relief when it was announced in year 2020, in the year 2020. It's not covered the transportation, air flight ticket and so on. It's not covered that. All right. But in 2021, last year, the government has made some changes about this domestic tax relief. What they say that, okay, I still give you the relief for the vacation traveling expenses, because as we know, PKP started in 2020. So now the 2021, when that time the situations are getting better, so all of us probably already started to go for a holiday. So they extended to 2021, YA 2021. So in the YA 2021, the condition still the same. Only can claim if you incurred for the cost of hotel or accommodation package and so on, and also entrance fee to the tourist attractions lah. If you go for the what we call this is, you go for the tourist attraction, means any attraction places that conducted by any tourism industries, and but not on the transportation. But what they say, if you take a package, tourism packages, yeah, which that tourism operators registered with MOTAD, that the expenses incurred for this tourism package can be claimed, which cover payment for the local tourist guide services, purchase of local handicraft products, food and drinks, and also transportation, including hop on and hop off. Okay, so this one actually is proposed from 1st January 2022, has been extended. Yeah, this one has been extended until 31st December 2022. Yeah, so now is the time, if let's say hopefully that this pandemic getting better by this year, so at least you can still go for a holiday and claim until 31st December 2022 for this domestic tourism tax relief. All right, the next one is the extension of tax relief for childcare center. This is straightforward, yeah. Under True Penjana announcement in the past, the tax relief for fees paid to a childcare center or kindergartens for the calendar year 2020 and 2021 are limited to a maximum of 3,000. Yeah, in a calendar year for that year of assessment. Before calendar year 2020 or 1A 2020, the maximum amount of tax relief for the child care centers and kindergarten fees is only limited up to 1,000, right? But effective from 1A 2020 and 2021, the tax relief increased to the 3,000. Yeah. So what are the conditions if you want to claim this? Yeah. So when we're talking about child, the child must be aged up to 6 years old. 7 years old onwards, no, cannot. All right. And the childcare center that you send your children must be registered with the Social Welfare Department, yeah, under the Childcare Center Act. And also it must be registered. If let's say you send your children to the kindergarten, it must be registered under the Ministry of Education. Then only you can claim the 3,000 for the fees that incurred for those sending your children to this education center. And this relief, according to the budget 2022, also extended until 2023, until next year. All right. Okay. So now we move on to the next one under this mobile phone and so on. Extension of tax relief on the purchase of mobile phone and computer and tablet and so on. Okay. Under the Penjana announcement last time, it did mention that special individual income tax relief is given up to 2,500, which cover the purchase of mobile phone, notebook, and also tablet, provided that that purchase is made on or after 1st June 2020, but not later than 31st December 2020. The purchase is not being used for the purpose of own business, and the total amount of deduction shall exclude the amount of deducted under the section 46(1)(p). I know this is a bit confusing because I'm talking more about the law, but just remember, if you remember last time when there is an announcement under the Penjana, the government said that I give a special tax relief for those individual incurred expenses when you buy mobile phone, notebook, and tablet. Yeah, because at that time, if I'm not mistaken, when the PKP started in March 2020, many of the companies already started working from home. So the employees may not happy because they may have to incur expenses on the technologies, like kind of have to buy their own phone, have to buy their own PC, and have to cater all this to do for the purpose of work. So for those companies that not provided any subsidy or not provided any benefits to sponsor all these costs, that's why government give a special what we call a special tax relief, but it's only the cost granted, the cost allowed, the expenses allowed is only 2,500, and there is a condition to say that one if you buy after 1st June 2020 but not later than 31st December 2020. But because of this COVID-19 pandemic has been ongoing after the 2020 year. So in the 2021, Malaysian government extended the reliefs. Yeah, extended the relief under Permai announcement. Yeah, you can under Permai announcement where they said that this special tax relief of 2,500 will be extended until 2021. And the most important thing that the 2,500 actually is an additional tax relief to the one that you can claim 2,500 of your lifestyle relief. Remember, you have the lifestyle relief that you can claim for the individual taxpayers, where you can claim if you purchase your book, if you buy handphone, if you buy a tablet, if you buy what we call this sports equipment, which the deductions allowed is also up to 2,500. So assuming that when you file your tax return, you incurred in the 2021 last year, let's say that you buy let's say that you buy phone, mobile phone mobile phone costs you 1,000 ringgit, and then you also buy Android phone, and maybe you buy iPhone that costs you 2,000, and then after that you buy mobile phone that costs you 1,500. That one is already 3,500. All right. So then you may ask yourself, am I eligible under the special income tax relief? Because it's only say 2,500 if I buy all these mobile phone, notebook or tablet and so on. But it's already cost me 3,500. No, don't worry, because government said you can claim, because this will be also as additional relief that you can claim up to 2,500 under the special tax relief. All right. So if you utilize or you incur expenses up to the max, maybe you buy iPhone up to 2,500 or tablet 2,500, and also you also incur cost of buying PC, which costs you also more than 2,500. But 2,500 under the special income tax relief add up with the 2,500 maximum that you can claim under the lifestyle relief, which total 5,000. You can claim and in your income tax return. So it's not like you can claim because only limited to 2,500 of the special income tax relief. No, actually it's an addition to the lifestyle relief. Yeah, and this relief, according to the budget 2020, will be extended another 1 year until this year, until 31st December 2022. So when you buy now, 2022, you can claim up to 5,000. Is a together lifestyle and special tax relief when you file your income tax return next year, 2023. All right. Okay. Now we move on to the next one. Extension of tax relief for deferred annuity premium payments. Okay. This one actually for those who have what we call this, take this or buy this scheme, deferred annuity from the insurance scheme. Yeah. So actually, because I think you know what is the insurance scheme: life insurance, medical insurance, education insurance, and also you know what is the PRS, private retirement scheme, and so on. But there is also another scheme that the insurance company may offer to you. They call as the deferred annuity scheme. So for those who actually take this deferred annuity scheme, if they what we call this, they pay the premium. So the deferred premium that they pay under this deferred annuity scheme can be allowed as a tax deduction as well. All right. So if let's say you didn't take PRS, but you take this deferred annuity scheme, you can still claim exemption up to 3,000, same as if you take private retirement scheme. So this is what has been announced in the budget 2022. And this one also will be covered, the relief will be given up to 4 years, YA 2025. All right. Okay, now we move on to the next one. What else? Tax extension of special income tax rate for non-resident individual. Okay, this one, what is this? Okay, this actually is refers to the non-Malaysian citizens, yeah, not from local. It refers to the non-Malaysian citizens who comes to Malaysia to perform professional or to provide professional services, yeah, to the company where the company actually already granted an incentive by the government. Yeah, it's already granted an incentive by the government under this what we call this granted by the MIDA, because for these non-Malaysian citizens to qualify for this income tax relief, which was proposed by in the budget 2021 last year, that they can pay tax at the lower tax rate of 50%. So if they work to in the manufacturing company that already been granted tax incentive by MIDA, approved by MIDA, so this non-Malaysian citizen, when they file their tax return, when they receive income from this company or salary, they actually can pay tax at only 15%, up to 5 years consecutive years. But this one may not relevant to local, yeah. This is more on the non-Malaysian citizens. Okay, now we move on to the next one. Introductory of the personal income tax relief for an electric vehicle. This is new. This is the new income tax relief. They want to encourage you to buy the electric vehicle, yeah. So they said that I will give you the tax relief up to 2,500 if you incur the expenses related to the cost of installation, rental, if you rent, or if you purchase the hire purchase or equipment, or this one I will give up to 2,500 starting from YA 2022. So the last one will be the tax exemption on the recognized esports. Okay, so this recognized esports is actually related for those who participated in the esports tournament where they got the prize money, so they will not be taxable, and income this will be given as a tax exemption. Okay, all right, now we move on to the next one. Now we move on to the what those news that affecting to employees subsequent to the announcement of the budget changes, which last time was a very hot topic about tax on income received from outside Malaysia. Okay, many years back, since 2004, I think it was since 2004, if I'm not mistaken, under when the government say that all foreign source income received by Malaysian or non-Malaysian will not be subject to Malaysian tax. When we say foreign source income, what we understand by foreign source income? Foreign source income means if you exercise your employment in overseas, or you conduct a business activities in overseas, where will be that services that you perform in overseas or the business that you carry out in overseas will be regarded as a foreign source income because it is derived from outside Malaysia. So if you bring back the money, let's say you buy a big house in the UK. So then you rent the house, and you are landlord, you rent the house, and you got the rental income every month, but you stay in Malaysia, and this rental income you will remit to your Malaysian bank account. Prior to this announcement, they said that all rental income that you receive from outside Malaysia under this example will not be subject to tax. All right, but when the budget announcement made by our Minister of Finance in October, it was mentioned that this foreign source income, for example, the rental income just now, will now be subject to the Malaysian, will not be subject to tax for the Malaysian. Non-resident, no. Non-resident still remains not subject to tax on the foreign source income. And it's about a big hoo-ha. Everybody not happy, especially for those Malaysian who has been working in overseas and bring back the money. And it's a big confusion. And at the end of the day, on the 31st December 2021, the Malaysian government, the Ministry of Finance has already issued with a one news to say, okay, with this, all foreign source income received by an individuals will now be will not be subject to tax anymore, will be tax exempted, but only from 1st January 2022 this year until 31st December 2026. Yeah, so for those company category of taxpayer is the company LLP, they refer to the foreign source income exempted on the dividend income. But again, there is a eligibility condition because so far IRB has yet to issue the condition for this one. So at least he has given some relief to the individuals not to worry when they file their income tax return this year for 2021, because you are talking about foreign source income. It maybe has many years back we have been got this foreign source income. Okay, all right, this is what the latest announcement made by the Malaysian government. Okay, the next one, EPF affecting employee. What are these? Okay, this I just want to elaborate on this one on the 11% or 9%. Since I already talked about this one, I think by now HR should know if this one the 9% EPF deduction actually still ongoing until December 2021 and effective January until December 2021, but now has been extended until June 2022. Yeah, so meaning that from July onward you have to go back to 11%. So if you want to opt and as individual, you have to fill up KWSP 70A, and then this employer that opt to amend the 11% is right to fill up the form KWSP 70A. And actually, employer may submit this application through the ICON, iAccount, and the employer should submit the employee's application by employer account and keep the copy as a records. All right, this is I think most of the HR knows. Yeah. Okay, now we move on very quickly to the HRDC. Okay, so the HRDC, as mentioned just now, actually is more on the agencies that provide programs for the purpose of to provide skills to the employees so that they can be given the opportunity to work in the many industries that require skilled people. Okay, so currently, there is no specific program conducted by the HRDC or incentive given to this employer if, let's say, they hire all these people or give training to all this group of people that mentioned in the budget 2022 announcement. So what has been proposed in the budget 2022 announcement, because we have many people who has suffered for a job loss. So to help all these job seekers, so the government said that why this HRDC as part of the agency help up them with all these programs. Yeah, so they actually they as I mentioned just now, they come up with the program like place and train, yeah, for the school leavers, graduates, yeah, and also they have another one, what we call these programs to give trainings for those who are former detainees, pensioner people, women and single mothers, and so on. So if you participate as employer, participate in this program to employ these underserved communities, so the government will give an incentive. They said that if you hire this, so the incentive will be given 30% of their monthly salary for the first 6 months and 40% for the next 6 months will be disbursed to the employee who participate in this. But until now, if you go to the HRDC Corp, I think they already come up with all this program, yeah. But the official confirmation that released by the HRDC is still in progress. All right. Okay. Now we move on to the next slide. Extension of exemption of HRD levy. Okay, what is the levy for the HRD? Because as you know that some of the industries or companies, they are compulsory to register with this HRDF. All right, and what they need to do, they need to pay a levy, yeah, a levy to the HRDF Corp, and the levy is the 1% from the company's monthly wages, yeah, and plus fees allowance and so on. I think for those company who had made a levy, pay levy to the HRDF, they may know the requirements. But there are also some of the industries or companies that are not eligible under these obligations to pay the 1% levy, and they are be given a tax exemption all this while. And then there is announcement, if you can remember, in 2021, where the government said that for those who are industries involved in the certain like the accounting firm, for example, like the technology and all these things, in the past they are not part of the companies that should pay the levy. They are not mandatory to pay levy for the HRDF. Now they become compulsory for this industry. They must pay the levy, but they have given exemption for 6 months. But now, no more extension. So effective from 1st January 2022, so the new registered employer under the industries that mentioned by the HRDF, you can see what are those list industries that now become mandatory for all these companies to register with HRDF, must pay levy to the HRDC. All right. So if you want more information about all these HRDF programs and the latest rules, actually they all actually already posted in their website. This is only one of the things that I just pointed out based on the budget announcement. All right. Okay, all right. So now we move on to the next one, SOCSO, which I will pass over to Mona.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Shalina. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope that you will be there with us until the end of the session. We will have a Q&A session, a quick one. All right, now I will present to you, just highlight it to you, what is actually the affecting employer on the SOCSO, right? I just want to highlight as well. All right, in the SOCSO website, there is a lot of information about the budget announcement, which is they already implemented. Some of it they already implement, some of it not. So let's move on and go through what is actually that, whatever that proposed during the budget, are they already implemented or not? So increase ceiling salary, which is the proposed that it would like to increase from 4,000 to 5,000. Right? So meaning that when it's increased salary for SOCSO contribution and also EIS, meaning that the contribution will be additional extra, which is currently, if I'm not mistaken, there will only employer and employees contribution for SOCSO only 88 ringgit 80 cents. So if they up for the 5,000, will be another extra perhaps. Okay, so but currently they said there is no announcement about it. All right, the payroll system still run the same thing, which is the SOCSO shilling still up to a salary of minimum maximum of 4,000 ringgit. Then yes, all right, government informed that they should, the SOCSO should cover and give the opportunity of benefit, SOCSO benefit to all these 9 category of self-employed, which is artists, hawkers, fisherers, and etc. And they already implement this and they launch it effective from 1st January 2022. So basically, those are categorized under this self-employed that actually able to enjoy all the SOCSO's benefit and coverage, which is I will tell you that this SOCSO, okay, currently they are looking forward to assist all the individuals or self-employed to make sure that are coverage to the benefit on the injury, on the, there will be a few incentive actually they will provide as well. Okay, so WSP is not a new, I would say, it's been there since, all right, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2020, all right, and after that continue 2021 from WSP, which is Wage Subsidy Program. You can say it as PSU, from PSU 1, 2, 3, 4. Now is 5, launch already. So meaning that this is your opportunity. If you are eligible to apply this WSP 5.0, please do so. Because even though you receive WSP 5.0, currently, you will still be able to apply for this WSP 5.0, because I can see that this is really benefit to the employer, which is their subsidies of 500 per month, which is up to 3 months, even though for tourism sectors, I can say that tourism sectors, there is a lot of tourism sectors inside there, including food, beverage, recreation, and everything. There is a list inside this WSP 5.0 that you can see it, all right, inside the SOCSO website. So I would say this is the something that the employer able to pick up, right? It's just a token, not only give you, if you feel that you are not affected due to this COVID, but you actually, slightly down, which is the revenue drop 30% compared to the revenue 2019 or 2020 or even 2021. So meaning that you also eligible for other categories. So I encourage you to go for this. Right. So if you have a further if you need further clarification about this WSP, I believe that our the SOCSO officers are really friendly, and all the information that you can get is actually in the web as well. Okay. So another point that I want to highlight, which is SOCSO. Currently, they are trying to make sure that, of course, during the budget announcement, this is the initiative that they are trying to encourage people, to those unemployed, to come over. Okay, employer, you join this program, then as well as the individuals. All right, so I give you the incentive. So this incentive, okay, I just pluck this from the SOPSO website as well. So it's under Jamin Kerja. If you want to know further explanation about this Jamin Kerja, actually today at 3 p.m. until 3:30, the Chief Executive HRD Corp, Datuk Sharul Dawood, okay, will be live Facebook. There will be have a live Facebook and also YouTube for Bernama TV. So basically, if you want to know further about this, they want to discuss about upskilling, reskilling opportunity that HRD Corp will provide. Okay, so this is incentive, I would say, that is really benefit to employees and also the employers, because if you can see the value, all right, it's just a token additional. If you have money, you know, to hire people, then about all this category of employees, okay, then maybe you get this incentive, you can add on, you give this money add on top of the salary that you give, right? That is a possibility. So this is where is the fund, the additional fund that we can find, all right, to help people. So this is one of the channel that the employer should grab for it. Okay. So overall implication of the budget. So if you can see, if we want to talk about everything, I think we out of time. There is a lot. So we focus on the area which is relating to the payroll and also what's the employer and employee, right? So as you are aware, why government gets and also approved to say why not extend another 6 months for the reduction of the EPF. Their intention, yes, no doubt, is actually to make sure that the money, all right, from the contribution, the difference of the contribution can help the individuals to survive, all right, if that is affected. But if you, a person, feel that, oh, I want more tax saving and also I want more return when I'm retired. So this will be the plan, right? The difference, you buy the PRS. Then after that, then you not only able to claim for the reliefs, also the retirement benefit as well. So what else? So Miss Shalina already explained about all the tax relief relating to individuals. Yes, it's also effect to the individuals, but as an employer, do you aware that all the personal reliefs actually has been plugged and also has been captured inside this form TP1, TP3? Do you know what is this TP1, TP3? So this is where that when you want to, all right, if your employee would like to claim all the personal reliefs, all right, and also the rebates, okay, in their monthly tax deduction. So do you need to provide this? So just at glance, I give you what is the TP1 requirement. TP1 is actually for what? TP1 for the new, for the all the additional, right? For the individuals, all right, to join, right? New joiner, I would say, you can give to all your employees, which is twice a year. You can escalate it, all right, and at least you maybe you want to do twice a year, meaning at least twice a year. You need to distribute this because it has been highlighted in the MTD guidelines. All right, maybe you want to do in May or November payroll, so that you distribute this, so then you get the approval from the employees, get them to sign and complete it. No need to have a complete all receipt, no need, it's not necessary. And you need to approve and sign the TP1, and you plug and put it all the details inside your payroll system. And of course, you need to keep the record for 7 years. Okay, so TP3 requirement for those are new joiner. I think this is a familiar to all of you, but some of the employer are not do this. So this is something that you need to see again. Yeah. So this is something that the employer needs to make sure that you get this signed form TP3, even though it's a blank form. This TP3 you need to distribute if the individuals is actually already employed by other company, all right, during the calendar year. Okay, so you need to get this signed, all right, even though it's blank, all right. Then after that, you need to processing it inside the payroll system so that we capture your MTD correctly, okay, towards the end. So then, of course, you need to keep records. So when we look at those incentives, WSP, Jamin Kerja, Training Skill Development Program, all these incentives given to employer and also employees, are they taxable? So based on the Income Tax Act, it's not taxable, it's tax exempt, as long as it's come from the allocation by the federal government or the state government in the form of grant or the subsidies, is a taxable is a tax exempt income. So no worries, you can have that money, it's no need to be taxed again. Okay, so what else? This will be the new updates highlight in the budget 2022. So effective 1st January 2022, means that this part, all right, okay, every month payroll SOCSO contribution for employees includes the EIS. So effective YA 2022, all right, next year, all right, not next year when you want to issue EA for 2022, please ensure that you also include the EIS contribution for employees up to 305,000 per year. Okay, so now, not only that, I believe that there will be a more impacts towards you, right? Which is what else? The incentive given, if there is any issue if you wrongly submit it. So this is something that you need to make sure that when you apply, all the documents are correct, accurate, and you really eligible towards that. Because I foreseen, okay, normally government will give you all the incentive, but they also, when they come for audit, they want to check again, there is time that they will compound you. So what will be your next action required? This is something just a general, the key point that you need to do, which is you must, and you look at the offense. If you late payment of the HRD just now, because HRD Corp says there is no more extension for levy, right? So you need to contribute. So that is offense. So whatever changes on the budgets and is already implemented, please check on the offenses. You must make sure that you try to avoid these offenses. Okay, adhere to the deadline, because you can see there is a few deadlines that we will provide to you. So you need to make sure all the details that you give to the relevant statutory as per the deadline. Payroll updates. Yes, your payroll must be updated. Okay, now you must make sure that your payroll system already have the new TP1, all the changes should be reflected in your payroll effective from 1st January 2022. Okay, so meaning that I believe that your payroll system are tip-top and already updated. If not, please go back and check it. Okay, and of course, please remember to have a proper documents and keep records. The audit, all right, from the IRB, Inland Revenue Board, they will come out for 7 years. Okay, it's similar with the EPF, and SOCSO is only 6 years. So you need to maintain all the proper record. If you know the opportunity, this is where the opportunity that you know about the incentives. So take up this opportunity and maximize the benefit if possible, because I know that financial will be the most important, all right, to all the businesses. So this will be the channel that you need to look out, all right, if there is any opportunity for you to take it. Okay, then of course, early consultation, if you need any advice relating to tax, EPF, so payroll, if you can find out with all the officers. If you feel that you want to have, view from the consultant, which is extraordinary, I would say that a precaution before you go and meet them. Maybe you afraid to meet them. If you go meet them, suddenly feel that you surrender. Okay, so why not you go and get the consultant to assist you. So now I think I will end that session. I want to continue to the Q&A session. Just now, early in the before Sean have a welcome note, there is a sign up, about our next event. There's something that I just want to share with you. Please snapshot, okay? Then you also can subscribe our Crow newsletter. All right. So now maybe we can continue on the Q&A session before we go to the floor. All right. So I have a few questions here, which is received from the audience as well before the events. Yeah. So question number one, maybe I will read this question and Ms. Shalina will help me to answer it. Okay. So if the employer is receiving WSP 4.0 assistance, is the employer eligible to submit the WSP 5.0 application?
Okay, Mona Lisa, can you see my video? You cannot see, is it?
No.
Oh, I don't know what happened, but can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I can see you actually, and also your voice very clear.
Okay, sorry, because I didn't see my voice and I didn't see my face anyway. I don't know what happened to the screen. All right, to answer this, yes,
Yeah.
the employer is still eligible to submit PSU 5 applications or WSP 5 application if they meet the eligibility before 31st March 2022. So upon completion of the previous what we call this, the previous PSU upon completion of this, so employer will receive additional assistance, yeah, as actually stipulated by the WSU 5. Actually, I also wanted to answer Sean's question, I think, because Sean actually in the chat box, he asked about the WSP 30% reduction to claim in 2022 2021 revenue compared against 2020 or 2029.
2029.
All right.
Yeah.
If you refer to this one, if I'm not mistaken, under the FAQ actually posted by the SOCSO, they did mention about the rate of decline of the 30% or more of total sales, or they said about the rate of decline must be the 30% or more of total sales or October, November, December income for the year 2021 compared to any other month in the year 2019 or 2020 before the outbreak of COVID-19, Mona. I'm not sure whether this will answer Sean's question, because this is what actually stated in the Perkeso FAQ under the WSP 5.0.
Correct.
And they talk about the rate of decline. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, inside the FAQ of the WSP 5.0, they did explain about this reduction. They can compare any years, even the 2029 or even 2020 or even 2021. So comparing the current one to that year. So there is an example as well inside the FAQ. For those a person would like to apply for this, the FAQ is really helpful.
Yeah,
Right?
actually they already posted the FAQ in the website. Yeah, all right.
Okay, so can I move on to the second question? All right, the second question is for the recent EPF reduction exercise, the employer is still be able to submit the employer's listing, which is the KWSP 17A HAS 2020, via the employer I account if the employer unable to submit it in January 2022 payroll. Oh, I think maybe due to the delay, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, the answer is still yes. Yeah, the employer are still able to submit the listing via this via the employer I account. Yeah, but the new EPF rate of this will only be take effect from February 2020 payroll lah, because there is a delay. There is a delay 1 month there. All right.
I see. Okay. All right. Great. So question number 3. All right. So this is about the HRD. All right. Employers will be penalized if they miss out on payment of the HRD levy, which is supposed to be deducted for the January 2022 salary. So I think I take up this question. Right. I would say that those employee who is entitled for exemption, right, need to start contribute. Need to start effective from January 2022, since no extension given for the levy exemption. Yeah. So in the event that is failed to do so, right, unfortunately there is an imposing of the late payment or non-contribution of the EPF levy. There is a rate for the penalty. So too bad. So better
Yeah.
that you
Because yeah, to me, because some of the company, they are not aware of
miss
the
out. Yes,
HRDF
correct.
requirements, because in the past, many years, they are not actually subject to the contributions to the HRDF. Yeah, but because of this, when the HRDF said that now all these industries that must now become mandatory to contribute, so they are confused about these tax exemptions and so on.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Effective from 2022, the SOCSO and EIS employee contribution are tax deductible up to 350 per year. Yes, correct. These amounts will be captured automatically in the monthly tax deduction calculation or payroll system to generate the MTD amount every month. This will be the good question, I would say. All right. So this EIS contribution and also SOCSO for up to 350 per year, right? So if you divide it by 12, that will be a percentage, maybe the rate of actual contribution of the employees. But bear in mind, this contribution for SOCSO and EIS, right, is not automatic capture in the calculation of your payroll system or even the MTD calculation, because MTD formula only capture what? They only capture the category of employees, they only capture a life insurance, all right, and also the EPF, okay, maximum of 4,000, and also zakat, which is zakat, those are deduction under monthly deduction via payroll, all right, only that, and also rebates. So that is only the formula. For SOCSO EIS, this will be the additional contribution, which is if you want to deduct this every month, automatic from the MTD calculation, employer needs to get the form TP1 signed and completed by the employees. So this is what happened. All right, it's just an additional, so it's not automatic.
Mona, I think since you're talking about this one, maybe can answer this question from iPeople Business to say that is it compulsory for employee to submit TP1 to HR department? Yeah.
Okay. Now, so for this TP1, all right, I think when we talk about this TP1, in the MTD guidelines says that under optional, right, that you can do to make sure that the MTD deducted correctly. However, unfortunately, there is a clarification when you've been audited, they will also still ask you, because inside the MTD guideline, there is the employer responsibility, which is employer responsibility to disseminate this TP1 or even TP3 to all your employees. Right? It's either the employees want to complete it and for you to process, then again is based on the employees itself. But you as the employer is your obligation and responsibility already. Right? So far as concerned, until today, yet to have been compound if the employee is not submit or disseminate this TP1. But effective November 2020, they already released and informed on the responsibilities towards this. So it's your responsibility. You want to do it or not to do it, it's again to you. Okay, so that is only for my view, right? Ms. Shalina, I think there is another question about the tax relief for purchase of computer or mobile phone is up to 2,500 per item. If I buy one PC 5,000, one tablet 2,500, so my tax relief is 5K or 250?
Actually, I already answered, Mona. I say 5,000, not 2,500. Yeah, because you can actually claim under the special tax relief, and also in addition to that as the lifestyle relief. So Arabi just look at these reliefs, and whatever amount that you pay, this you can only claim up to 5,000 only. Yeah.
Great. I see.
And this has been extended until this year. All right. Yeah. So because we're still under this pandemic, so Arabi encouraged us to work from home, I think. Yeah.
So maybe due to the PDPR as well for all the kids. Yeah. So I think that's all the questions. So I would like to invite and pass over to Sean. Sean, are you there for the closing?
Yes, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
Sean.
Yes, thank you, Miss Shalina and Miss Mona Lisa. I know you can't cover everything, but it is substantial enough to allude the businesses to start looking. It's great to summarize it in that way. I also experienced it when I came across the budget 2022, and there was so many things, and you say, okay, where does it affect where, what, which is very good that you can compartmentalize it in that way. Okay, and since there's not much question coming in anymore, we would like to conclude this session, which is pretty good. We have gone through almost an hour and a half. Okay. For everyone who's watching, thank you for attending, and watch out for another Crow Expert Hour brought to you by MICCI in the future. And I'm sure there will be one not too far in the distance, and we'll keep you guys all updated and continue to strive in your business. Recovery is on the way, but Omicron is causing a bit of a disruption in terms of productivity. But stay in there, stay the course, and together we shall overcome. All right, thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye and
See you
stay
next time.
safe. Yeah.
Say
Stay
bye.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.